Folks, we are live with the LifterLMS Ask Me Anything call. Emily, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm just going to be honest, going to be transparent. I'm going to be slow today. I'm going to be slow all day today. I'm old, and old people need their sleep. And I was supposed to pick up my daughter at 11:30 at the airport last night, but Kansas had some thunderstorms roll through, and apparently airplanes can't fly in thunderstorms. So she went to Tulsa, and then we had to wait. Dude, I didn't get home till after 4 o'clock in the morning.
Damn.
I'm tired. But here's some good news. I'm really enjoying that we can fire up these Ask Me Anything calls live, and we go live, and you can see, on the interface, there's already people here. So, folks, if you are joining us live, I would implore you, go ahead into the comment area and, tell us, your name, where you're from, where you're watching from. And then more importantly, almost, is if you have any kind of questions or concerns, curiosities about LifterLMS or some WordPress stuff in general, Emily and I are here for the next hour or so to help and answer those. So if you would, put your comments or questions into the comment area on whatever platform you're watching on, and we will jump in there and help you with that. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and put in our show launching message. And that is that you get 55% off by using this coupon code at lifterlms.com/AMA-gift /AMA-gift. lifterlms.com/AMA-gift. I sound like an infomercial, a slow infomercial. We've got a couple of questions already that, from people that can pre-register and put some questions into a form for us. Hey, John, welcome to the call. John Phillips, John from Mississippi. Good to have you. So we can go ahead and start with a couple of those questions, but I thought I'd put it to you, Emily. What do you think is going on this week? What are some points of interest that maybe we can handle before we jump into that?
Points of interest. I've been exploring BuddyBoss deeper. It's just getting more popular with the news of acquisition and all of the 5-year anniversary that they have going. Really, that's most of what I've been doing. I have a couple clients who are on the Divi LifterLMS install who are not happy with how complicated it is. So I'm walking back into the block editor with a few customers over the years who've said like, hey, years ago we built our site with page builders. Now we're looking to make it faster, be the WordPress editor. So this was going on for me in WordPress. I have a side note too. Check this out. I have a cat in my shirt. I'm pregnant with a cat. It's a small kitten that's like underdeveloped, and I carry her around in my shirt all day.
Okay.
What about you?
My daughter adopted a kitten, and then we watched that kitten for 2 weeks. But we didn't just watch that kitten, because right before she went out of town, she thought that kitten needed a friend. So we had 2 tiny kittens in our house for the last 2 weeks, and I went and returned those kittens last night on my way to the airport to pick her up. So that was pretty cool. Karen King is with us today. Karen from Toronto. Good to see you. Karen's got a question, and this is one that you could probably do a screen share for, Will. Karen is having a question. She wants the graphics package that people with the Infinity package get access to. And I think she's looking around in like the LifterLMS website and trying to find it, and it's trying to sell it to her or something. But isn't that a package that is in the add-ons and more menu that's within the Infinity setup?
Yeah, absolutely. I can show you where to access that. I gotta log into my main LifterLMS account, and I gotta be careful not to share my license key.
Don't show your stuff.
Exactly. That's what I'm looking at. Okay, so I think I should be safe on this page. So boom. Risk it. Okay, so here is my LifterLMS account page. If I scroll down, there's like an other section. I thought there was. I can't go too high here. Launchpad themes. Is there not the Ninja Forms add-on? I should find this in another window before I share this. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna make sure I can find the Power Pack. It's called the Power Pack now.
It's called the Power Pack.
Power Pack.
I thought it was part of your website add-ons and more in the LifterLMS admin menu.
It used to be in your actual My Account page, and then in that downloads area, there was used to be called LifterLMS Pro, and now it's called Power Pack. And I don't see it. I see Power Pack discounts that I have on the left. Wait, LifterLMS Aircraft ConvertKit Formidable Forms, a bunch of LifterLMS add-ons, Mailchimp, Ninja Forms, Twilio, WP Forms, Ocean WP. I don't see it. I don't see it in the back end where I used to see it on my account. That is strange. Because it used to just be there as a zip file. It contained some certificate backgrounds. It contained achievement badges. It just had some pre-made assets in it that you can use on your sites. I don't see it there anymore. I would recommend hitting up support with that, because that's missing from what I can see.
Yeah, and I was looking in the add-ons and more with resources, and we've got the Aircraft Builder and the LifterLMS Power Pack is listed there. And that's what she's looking for, right? So I'll show a screen share of the back of my website. Shazam. So the LifterLMS Power Pack, customize your learning platform with gorgeous digital certificate, achievement badge, and notification icon, blah, blah, doop, doop, doop. And so LifterLMS, add-ons and more, resources. I looked under tools, and in tools, this is where we see, the Infinity Bundle, Aircraft Builder, Twilio, and the LifterLMS Power Pack.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then if you can't access it through that, then I agree with Emily 100%. Just, you've got an Infinity Bundle. Just send a request into support, and those folks will take care of you.
Absolutely.
Here we go. Jorge Rodriguez says, will BuddyBoss be a seamless API with LifterLMS? I don't understand the term. A lot of people say, is it seamless? And I'm like, okay, what's your definition of seamless? I have 4 or 5 different BuddyBoss projects, and I have BuddyBoss projects for clients. The integration is pretty straightforward. So I guess when you say seamless API integration, what is it that you're looking to do? I think that's one of the most important questions there is, what is it you're trying to do? Because a lot of folks, maybe you're trying to get groups to do something different inside the LifterLMS platform that's not part of the integration. If you're looking for some kind of customizations or automations that aren't included in the integration, then of course you want to look at that. And then LifterLMS has a very robust REST API. So if you went to lifterlms.com, typed in REST API and search, you would have multiple resources that would take you to a very robust API if you were looking to do something custom. What would you add to that response?
Will BuddyBoss be a seamless API with LifterLMS? I used the LifterLMS to build the BuddyBoss app recently, and it feels pretty seamless to me, where it just takes a second to load. The BuddyBoss does have a native integration with LearnDash as far as their app is concerned, so it kind of preloads that course and lesson data if you're using that. But with LifterLMS, it uses something called web fallbacks, so it actually loads the website, but it does it in the perspective of the app. And to me, that's perfectly seamless. I was really happy with the user experience, and so in my experience is extremely seamless. But then if you're looking at an API, if you're looking at a more advanced integration, there are absolutely abilities to do that with both LifterLMS and BuddyBoss. So I don't know what you're going for. LifterLMS works well with BuddyBoss. If you're going for the app, I enjoyed my experience building an app, but there are also APIs if you're trying to do some more deep integration.
Yeah. I guess when you start considering the mobile app side of it, it changes the conversation quite a bit.
Yeah, that's the only part of it where it's like, well, it's different than if you were to go with another LMS. Like there's considerations at that point.
Yeah, yeah. Well, John Phillips is with us, and this is one of those things that hits kind of your wheelhouse, Emily. Is there a way to have a more granular control over items displayed in the dashboard code, such as shortcodes that display more limited items? And so there are tools baked into LifterLMS without special code and CSS where you can say remove this or remove that or add this link. And we've got some Feature Friday content that covers that. But if we look at this potential use case, it is a little bit different. It says, I'd like to display courses in the student's dashboard only if enrollment status is enrolled, not expired. Also, there are a few other items I'd like to remove from the standard dashboard, such as hiding my memberships if the user doesn't belong to any memberships. So I think the first thing that we should probably take a look at here is just how to remove, almost that sidebar menu, right? There's all those items, my achievements, my memberships, my grades. That is super simple to remove using the accounts item in the LifterLMS settings menu. But we can dive into that. Is that something you can pull up?
Yeah, absolutely. So here is the screen share. We could talk about, we're looking at the dashboard page. So for anyone new to LifterLMS creates a few key pages. It creates this dashboard page, it creates a purchase page, and it creates a membership and course catalog. So it's like 4 key pages. This is one of them. And so there are some settings out of the box to change this page. If we go to LifterLMS settings, accounts, this is where we can designate which page is our dashboard page. This is going to be automatic. If you run the LifterLMS setup wizard, it'll automatically assign the page that it creates. But here are our student dashboard endpoints. So if you're not using grades, we'll just delete this little line of text. If you're not doing achievements, we'll delete that. Certificates, delete that. And so you can come through here and clean up what's on the side. If you're not doing vouchers, you probably don't need that. So let's save changes and reload. We'll notice that some of these items get shortened. There's not as many items as there were a second ago. And so we can clean this up a little bit. And also achievements and certificates get cut off of this main section automatically when you eliminate them from the sidebar. And if you did want to take it a step further, and the question said, I want to show only enrolled courses, and there are a few items I'd like to remove from the dashboard if the user doesn't belong to membership. So in this case, I would recommend doing a custom dashboard setup. Here's how I would do it. Something along these lines. So the My Account shortcode, we do need it on the page in order to display a login if someone were to come to this page and be logged out. So I need to put it in a group, and then I'm going to make this group visible with LifterLMS. It has this thing called enrollment visibility. And this is in the block editor. I'm assuming you're working with the block editor. And so this is going to be logged out users. They're going to see the shortcode block so that they'll be able to log in. Logged in users won't see anything. So let me show you what this looks like right now. Logged out users will see a login. Logged in users see nothing. But here's what we can do. We can put a courses block on here. This is also a shortcode that's available, but the block is faster for me. So I only want to show my courses I'm enrolled in. So it's going to limit it. I'm only enrolled in one course. So I'll save this. So now logged in users will see this. And I should actually put this in a group as well. Let's see. So this group will be visible to logged in users. So we have a logged in section and a logged out section. There's one other thing. Oh, information based on a membership. Information based on a membership. What we would do is within this group right here, we could put certain content. We could say memberships. Or it's / memberships, really. Memberships. So I could get the memberships block. And this would only be visible if you're enrolled in a membership. I do happen to be enrolled in a membership. And so there you can see my course and my membership. This isn't very well laid out, but you can see how I'm kind of starting to put this together. And I could put some headings on here. Like inside of here, we'll put like a heading for courses. Head block for courses. And so we can start to reassemble the dashboard, but in our own custom way where we can format how it looks. And so that's what I would recommend. There's a lot of different ways you could do that setup, but I would start heading down that direction. What do you think, Kurt?
Yeah, that's really well described. And remember, that dynamic content adopts a lot of the styling cues from your theme. And so your results might vary based on, what theme you're using or setups or things like that. So, but that's a great way to go. And specifically to I only want to show the courses that I'm enrolled in, and you can absolutely customize that experience. Once you build a custom dashboard page, then of course you would want to go back to settings and make that custom dashboard page the dashboard page, right? So in the settings, so that when people click on dashboard, that's what they see. Here's another one. This one's from Heinrich, and keep them coming, folks. It's good to see some activity here. Like I said, we can fall back on some pre-asked questions in a form, but I like when people are live and we can kind of answer them right away. That's a fun way to go. Heinrich says, when going your training. So I think when looking at your training, it says the access plans are a little messy. If you are trying to display access plans on your course pages and something doesn't seem formatted correctly, that's another one of those. It took some styling cues from your theme. So there might be some interference there. But the question is, can I use CSS to clean it up? And the answer is absolutely. Yeah, you can style up the dynamic content with CSS on your page. Is there anything that we need to add to that, Will?
I don't know how much we could say here without seeing like kind of a picture of it. But yeah, it is exactly classes. I could show like if you're on access plans. So if I go to like an access plan for a course, is there one of these I'm not enrolled in that I could see an access plan right here? Okay.
Yeah.
So like
I'm just going to drop a resource in comments real quick. We have a resource on how to add CSS to LifterLMS. So you'll see that in comments, and we'll put that up on the screen as well.
Yeah, that sounds great. And if we wanted to change like the background color to red, that's obnoxious, but like can we dark red? You could put your hex codes in here, and I don't know what hex code this is, but there we go.
That's a nice one.
That's a nice one. And so we can do things like border radius. So this is border radius 10px. I'll round my corners off, and there's like a shadow that's getting a little weird. But yeah, you can absolutely use CSS in all of the LifterLMS elements. I use Google Chrome, so this is going to be LMS access plan content, and I would put that in my customizer, child theme, or wherever I'm doing CSS, and then simply make the changes that I want to make there. But it does require a little CSS knowledge, which isn't super hard, but it just requires a few hours invested to figure out just how it's working.
Yeah, it's we get the question a lot, like about CSS, and if you start watching like page builder content on YouTube for tutorials and stuff, like let's say you get into Bricks or Elementor, like you can't watch anything on Bricks as an instructional video and not have them mention CSS somewhere. So yeah, being able to customize and style these tools exactly the way you want is something that you can actually do. It's not a big deal. Heinrich's got a follow-up question, and it says, how do I post a picture? I mentioned.
I think I mentioned put a picture of the access plans. So John had shared a screenshot link in chat, and I could rewrite that link. It's pretty short, but yeah, there's like screenshot hosting things where you could put it on like Google Photos or like this sharecleanshot.com kind of thing. And also John said, I'm using Bricks Builder, so that's a perfect example. The short code, as long as Bricks has a logged in visibility, logged out visibility, Kurt, you might know if it has that or not. That's exactly what I was doing there.
Yeah, and sometimes in Bricks, in my very limited scope of experience, because I've only got a couple of sites done with Bricks so far, you can control things in the WordPress editor for as the dynamic content gets entered to whatever you've formatted for your templated page. So in some cases, I found that I was making changes on the WordPress side of things, like how Lifter sees something as enrolled or unenrolled or something like that, and then going and styling it up in a template. So what I did in my Bricks experience was I templated my courses and templated my lesson pages, and then I applied those templates to those course and lesson pages, and then of course controlled what was displayed on those pages using the settings in LifterLMS and WordPress. But it all seemed to work. It took me a little bit, but I just redid the Mañana No Mas website for my birthday last weekend. I thought I want my site to look different. I want it to be a little more professional instead of social. So I switched some things up, and I used Bricks to kind of get that under my belt and do that. And it worked really well. My first couple of experiences with Bricks were not as positive. So it's one of those examples of, sometimes we got to sow a little more seed than we expect to get a harvest. And Bricks for me personally was a little more of a leap and a jump to get into it. But once I really started to play with it, it was fairly intuitive. I don't fall into the category where I think it's something that I don't think like entry-level agency people should be necessarily building in Bricks and then trying to pass those off for self-maintenance projects to clients. I think putting a new client into Bricks could be a little bit of an overwhelm situation, kind of like when you try and explain Elementor to a client. But if you're a hobbyist and you're building and you like these page builders on your own, Elementor and Bricks are top notch. Those are good products. All right. We've got a couple more things rolling in here. Karen's back and she's saying, how can I put my logo on my pages? And then she's asking, what's the difference between the membership pages and the course pages? I mean, they're different custom post types in the real world, but we can go into that a little bit. And I think what she's saying with the logo is in a global way. So I think what she's asking is, how can I put my logo on all my pages in a global way? Well, I think that would come down to, like, for instance, if you had a logo in the top left of your header, and then you had that header display on each page, then you would have a logo on every page. That's kind of the way that I see that. And so, yeah, she follows up and says, is there a place where I can put my logo on every page by entering it once? Build a header and then have that header, with your navigation menu or whatever, go to every page. So that could definitely be something that happens. Is that something we can show fairly quickly?
Yeah. So is it SkyPilot theme, do you think? Is that, or we don't know?
Oh, she's on Infinity. It might be SkyPilot. And of course, if it's SkyPilot, it's in full site editing, which seems to be more of a full site editing with the headers seems to be more of a hidden magic question than anything else right now.
Yeah. So Karen, if you could let us know she said yes in chat. SkyPilot.
Yeah.
So with SkyPilot, we're going to be using full site editor, like Kurt said. This is a newer editor to WordPress in the last 2 years, but it's going to be the one going forward that's used all the time. So we can see here, I do like to use the document overview whenever I'm in the block editor. Makes everything a lot easier. So going into the header section, we can see it's purple. The purple ones indicate these reusable items or a template part, for example, like the header and footer. So I'm going to edit my header. You can see I'm currently editing the single course layout, but once I start messing around in the header, I can click on edit. Takes me to just the header piece right here. And you want to change a logo. So currently my logo says My Academy. It's right here, site title. So if I wanted to change this, what I would do is delete the site title. I would put it in my own block. It's an image. You can do logo too as a block, but I just do an image and then link the image. But let's just do an image. So
that's funny. We do the same thing.
The same thing, just link an image.
Yeah, I just do the image and the link. I've never used the site logo block ever, I don't think.
Yeah, it just pulls the image from the customizer or wherever it's designated. I'm not even sure anymore where it's designated, but I just do image. And so I'm going to move it. It's nice to have this drag and drop thing on the side here, this document overview, because this will let me see everything going on and I can easily put it in the right place, go to my media library, select my logo, and then assign that. And then I can simply change the spacing a little bit, save this. And anywhere my header is displayed now on my website, if I back out of the full site editor, go to the front end, I have this item here. No matter what page I go to, wherever that header is at, I'll have my logo. That's how I would do that. But it's, yeah, let us know if you have any other questions there.
We've got a newcomer to the chat. Welcome. I'm gonna risk it. Vestalite, maybe Vestalite says, is there any way we can add a dashboard for teachers as well? I'm gonna be super transparent on this one, Will. This is one of those things where it was like, I feel like it was never requested when I first started working with LifterLMS. Like, very rarely would someone be like, oh, I need a custom dashboard for the front end for this user role. It was like never asked for. And now I'm going to say in the last year, I must get this question 6-7 times a week. So whether this ends up on a roadmap for development internally with us, or if we continue to recommend, that people source someone on the experts page to help them have that developed for their particular project, it is possible. So let's just be frank. At this stage of the game, if you want to have a front end, reporting page, a front end dashboard for a user role, let's say for instructors, for instructor assistants, for a new user role that you might create for your website, you can have that developed. And so basically, an instructor would sign into a specific page, they would be logged in, and that would give them access to dynamic content on the front end. That would be basically, the student dashboard, right? Student reporting that they would see on the front end. Typically, and we have to go back to like when LifterLMS was made and motivations and all that stuff, but typically, you think of somebody as an instructor or a coach or a teacher in an organization as being somebody that is on the inside already. And so when LifterLMS was developed, there's a very robust reporting feature in the back of the, admin panel. And we say admin panel because I think that's a common phrase, right? Like the back end of WordPress. But different user roles have different accesses to that panel. So an instructor does not have the same capabilities as an administrator in the website. So depending on your use case and depending on, how deep you need this to go, especially if this is a new launch project and it's like a minimal viable product to start, I would consider just make them the instructor, give them access to that, that back end, show them how it works. And there's like full robust reporting in the back of the website so they can manage the students that they're responsible for. That's the way the system was originally developed. But if you want to have that, pushed to the front end for those user roles, you can certainly have that developed as well.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, having it developed is the key there. We've had a couple LifterLMS customers who've done custom development to make that happen, building courses and stuff on the front end. They're really just importing back end stuff to the front end, but it looks all right. So
yeah, and then maybe it has to do with styling. Maybe it's people are like, oh, I want that person to feel like they're on the front end with a custom page. All of that is custom. Like the word is custom, so it can be done, but you gotta make the investment and have that there. Now, I am going to put the resource up for roles and capabilities, and the reason that I'm going to do that is because there are so many people that see these replays and have the same types of questions about what I just said. So roles and capabilities gives a description of each of the roles that LifterLMS adds to your WordPress instance and what access or capabilities that role has in the back end of your WordPress site. So again, I think a lot of it comes down to administrators that go, well, I don't want any Tom, Dick, and Harry signing into the admin panel of my website and changing the theme or adding courses or affecting changes, seeing orders, seeing the revenue stream through the site. I certainly understand that there's certain parts of your website you might not want to share with people, but if you use the roles appropriately and the way that we have some of those safeguards set up, you are safe from that type of exposure while giving the people that you need to have access to the right information.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I am going to take a question off of our. We've got a few questions that have rolled in now, so let's do this one. This one comes from. No, where did I go? This one comes from a guy named Robert. I think his name's Robert. It looks like Robert. So I'm going to say Robert hyphen and boom. Okay. This question I wanted to cover definitely will be Emily, because I don't think I'm understanding the question. It says, I need to know why the different dimensions used for videos for different devices, such as PC, tablet, or mobile, are not used. I've not found any information about it except that I have the option to connect one type of video in the video section. I come from the LearnPress system that, together with Elementor, had the option of different formats. To me, the key in there is you say together with Elementor. Elementor has the different views for customizing your displays. So you can design for desktop, you can design mobile first, you can design for tablet in Elementor, and you can adjust things. But I also drive back to thinking about the standard video embed. Almost all of those are responsive. So I'm a little confused. Is the concern that you're putting a video link in your website and then when people see it, it's all blown out and it's like off the screen? If it is, then that would be a sign that you're using some kind of fixed dimension instead of responsive code for those embeds. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, the I've not found any information except and they're using Elementor. When you embed something like an iframe, it specifies the dimensions, but when you use like an O-embed system, it automatically, like where you just embed a link in WordPress and it automatically embeds, it takes the dimensions based on the size of the screen. So it sounds like you might be using like an iframe or something. I don't know. That would be my suspicion, but yeah, it'd be kind of a system where we'd have to take a look at what is exactly embedding the video.
Yeah. As I read the question as it came in, I was like, I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, because with Elementor, very specifically, you can design for any of those platforms. So mobile, desktop, tablet, you can set that stuff up. You can set your spacing for your headings. You can change the font sizes. You can do all kinds of stuff in Elementor in that way. And then I was thinking about like our featured video. So if I take a YouTube link and I put it in as a featured video, that YouTube link in the featured video space in the lesson editor, that's going to be a responsive edit. So if I'll look at it on a desktop, it's this big. If I look at it on a phone, it still fits. So if that's not happening, maybe you're not using, if you're using the featured videos and you're not using YouTube, Vimeo, or Wistia, then you need to use a different embed method for your content. Maybe there's some issue there.
Yeah. Usually, like, you just drop a video in a page, WordPress, Elementor, whatever the editor, and it scales automatically. So something's going on, for sure.
Yeah, something was up there. And then I can't even post this one in here because it's way too long of a question. It's this would be from Robert, something about optimizing videos in Malaysia, 200 lessons, 25 courses. It's for this one, Robert, if you're watching the replay on this, I would say copy that out, right? Or rewrite that and put that into a help request at LifterLMS, help@lifterlms.com. It's too large of a thing for me to do there. And
I'm thinking it might also be like there are video hosts that allow you to select regions like bunny.net server options. I've been using bunny.net recently, and there's a bunch of other ones too. But I was trying to see, is there a list of cool? Okay, so if I'll share this on screen. This is not just a bunny.net thing. This is most video hosts who allow you to do some customized global stuff have this. But you can see the standard network here. So you can select which regions your videos are hosted at. Like, where are your videos actually hosted at? Like, what server? And so you can choose, if you're trying to serve Malaysia, you'll choose a region close to there. Whereas I'm choosing regions in the United States that are going to be closer to people watching my videos on average. But yeah, you can choose multiple locations or one of them, but you can localize hosting. A lot of people don't know about that. Like, look at a video host who allows you to do localized hosting like that.
Nice. I didn't even read that into that question. I was like, I saw the amount of text on that. I was like, well, there's no way we can do that on a live call. It's an encyclopedia request. If we move back to Heinrich has a follow-up question. It says, with no e-commerce capability for Lifter groups currently, how do users currently process companies wanting access to groups? Heinrich, the answer is probably not what you're looking for. It's a manual process. Each time that I set up a group, or each time I coach my clients to set up groups, it comes down to, how many seats, what did I negotiate for the cost, and then I build that into the membership. I send that company, or I coach my clients to send that company an invoice and generate payment. And let's just be super frank. If I'm doing a group sale, I just did a group sale for one of my projects. It's called the Power Sport Academy. That group sale is going to be about $30,000. So I don't want $30,000 being automated and going through Stripe at 3%. Like, there's no way I want that to happen. And so knowing that each of those instances, is a separate use case, typically the way that we use groups is we go, okay, I'm going to negotiate this with this client, and it's going to be so many seats for this many dollars. And then we're going to send them an invoice. They're going to pay that invoice with direct deposit or some type of manual process. And then groups is a manual process. You assign the seats, you assign the group leader. When you assign that group leader, your client that made that purchase, they use groups to invite their users to that platform. And what's super cool about groups is you do get the front end reporting that people are asking for. So if we drive back to that earlier question about how can my instructors have a custom dashboard, if it's a smaller group of students, you could actually form a group for that instructor. They can invite their students to that group, and then they can see in the front end of that group's report how many students have logged in, what's their progress, and what are their current grades. So you can see more detail in the detailed reporting, the advanced reporting in the back end of Lifter. But if it's just, are they making progress and what are their grades, you can see that through groups. And so groups is very much a manual process. And so that is one of those things that comes up periodically. But at this stage of the game, it's a very manual process. You make the sale, you assign the group, you assign the seats for the group, you assign the group leader, and then that group leader assumes control of the group, invites their students. That goes out like via email through the system. They accept the email invite, they become part of the group, they get access to whatever that purchase was, because you have an auto enrollment feature that adds whoever accepts the invitation to whatever membership or course that entity has purchased. And so that's kind of the way that works right now. Do you have anything to add about that?
Other than custom development, there are ways where you could hire a PHP developer who can leverage the LifterLMS REST API. The REST API can create groups and create seats in groups and send out stuff like that based on triggers from other events. So there are ways to automate it, but it requires a PHP level developer to help you out with.
Yeah, perfect. And then I hesitate, but I'm going to share this question anyway. This user has sent this question multiple times, multiple weeks. I think they watch the replay every week, and I have no idea what stipends is referring to. It's because, can we keep this forever, including stipends? And before, the question was, where do I get the stipends after using this? I'm not sure what this question is about. I think what it is asking for is, can I sell courses and how do I get paid? Is that how you would interpret that? Or is this someone thinking they're an affiliate?
I would interpret it as the AMA gift coupon, and if you can use it with scholarships.
Oh, well, maybe, I don't know. Your scholarship is a different platform program, so I don't think you would use it with scholarships. But yeah, can I use this forever? Let's be clear. LifterLMS is free for all intents and purposes. The core plugin for LifterLMS is free, and you can use it forever. Perfect. When you want to start marketing or selling your content, when you want to drive profit for yourself off of the platform, there's going to be tools that you're going to want to leverage for that. And those tools come at a premium. So we have advanced add-ons for e-commerce, for marketing integration, for groups and community. So we do have ways to increase the capacity of your LifterLMS core plugin, but you can start out for free. And if you want to attach e-commerce or other things like that, we have add-ons to help facilitate that. And then stipends, which stipends to me always means some kind of money somehow. If you have a payment gateway on your website, you can keep selling and keep collecting money. Vestelite's back. Here we go. We are 42 minutes into the hour, so we've got another 18 minutes, folks. If you are watching this live and you have questions, go ahead and add your questions. We'd love to try and help you out. But it says, what is the scalability and customization ability of LifterLMS in the long run when compared to other LMS providers in the market? That is such a loaded question, Vestelite. There's almost not a real answer to that. I will give you a little bit of my background. So I started out with using tools like Docebo. Everyone says it different, right? I always said Docebo. I think they're out of Milan in Italy, actually. Docebo. What was my customization ability there without paying $250,000 for a professional to adjust it? Nothing. Bridge, Learn Upon, Sum Total, same thing. A lot of SaaS providers, very high expense, typically 6 figures to set up and $70,000 to $80,000 a year to host if you've got somewhere around 2,000 active users. And so when I started looking at the cost versus what I was able to actually do within those platforms, I mean, I could kind of white label what my students saw. I could put my logo in, but as far as like really having customization ability, the way we think of customizations, it wasn't there. So then I went into the Moodle space. Moodle is it's open source. You can add that to HTML-based websites or other platforms. And Moodle, right out of the chute, is bone-faced ugly. So there's not a lot you can do with Moodle. That becomes an entire reskinning of that platform. And that's what a lot of these other SaaS platforms do. They take the open source platform of Moodle for its functionality and they reskin it and sell it to clients. And so that's why you see a lot of these SaaS-based LMS platforms. They're expensive, a lot proprietary in a way, and you pay a per user licensing fee. So you'll run into that a lot. I'm part of a SCORM organization in Slack, actually, thousands of users in this thing. And a common question that comes up is, why did you go to WordPress for LMS when there's all these other advanced, SCORM platforms? And those SCORM platforms are charging a per user license fee. So if you're active monthly users, your SIMAU, right? Monthly active user count is 1,000, it's this much. If it's 2,500, it's this much. If it's 5,000 students or more, it's this much. And part of what attracted me to the WordPress space was the idea that once I had the plugin, as long as my hosting could handle the traffic, there were no limitations. There was no limitations on the number of courses, the number of lessons, the number of students, the number of instructors, the number of administrators in the site. I have no limits. And so then the question, once I said, okay, I'm going to explore this WordPress space more, was what platform is going to meet that? So I went and looked at 10 or 15 different platforms. And I ended up settling as a customer on LifterLMS. And the reason I chose Lifter, besides the awesome support that I got directly from the owner, was it's one of the few platforms that has the membership management and the learning management combined in one platform. Okay, so let's just knock that out of the gate right there. So scalability. I can grow this thing as big as I want as long as the hosting I provide for it meets the need, right? So it depends on your use case. You know, do you have 10,000 users? Are you going out to multiple universities? Are you doing a multi-site project? I mean, there's tons of use cases on this, but if your hosting is robust enough, it can absolutely scale. And in fact, in the last quarter, we put out 2 really good guest posts about scalability on the LifterLMS website. One was written by the Convesio team. Convesio is a wonderful hosting platform, and they wrote a specific post for us on scaling. I'll look up the link and drop that in the comments. And then the other one was by MemberHost, and that was a wonderful article that was so in depth. I plan in the next year of taking that article, because I have his permission, to break that into segments and actually kind of make a course out of considerations for scaling your WordPress instance of an LMS. So can you scale? Absolutely. And then when it comes to customization, I'm going to pass that over to Emily to talk about customization ability while I look up those other 2 links for you.
Yeah, so talking about customization compared to other LMS providers in the market, like Kurt said, taking a look at hosted solutions is one thing. Taking a look at other LMS solutions in WordPress is another thing, especially when comparing features. Usually I recommend just trying out the handful of LMSs you've narrowed it down to based on your feature set and seeing which one you think works best for you. But talking about some of the key bullet points of customization in LifterLMS, we can really take a look at customizing a lot of things, like the course pages and lesson pages are completely customizable within the block editor. LifterLMS also includes memberships, which most LMSs don't, but those memberships are also customizable in the same way. When we take a look at editing our course pages, LifterLMS comes with some out-of-the-box blocks, like the course progress block, like the mark complete block for your lessons, and also some short codes and things like that if you are using a page builder, because some users like John in chat want to use Bricks Builder or Elementor or something above and beyond what the WordPress editor has out of the box. And there are options to integrate with those as well. I recommend sticking with the WordPress out of the box as close as you can. That's just like kind of the easiest way to avoid as many conflicts as possible. It's just to stick with what WordPress provides you out of the box. However, I do use Elementor on my websites, but I do like Elementor. I do like spending time in the back end of my WordPress site, so I'm willing to invest time in that, designing it and maintaining it. But yeah, so customize it with block editor, customize it with the any page builders of your choice. And like Kurt said before, the theme comes in big as to what your items are going to look like by default. You can see there's this blue mark complete button here with a background, and this next and previous lesson and sidebar look a certain way. But watch this. If I change my theme from SkyPilot, I'm using LifterLMS SkyPilot, which is like an all blocks based theme. If I swap this over to Astra, it's going to look totally different. My recommendation is to be Astra, Cadence, or SkyPilot, but you can see that there's like a mark complete button. My sidebar isn't set up, and these next and previous look a little bit different. Let's change over to Cadence now. If we activate Cadence, it's going to look even different again. So now our sidebar is there. The styling looks a little different out of the box, but this can all be customized. But a lot of it does have to do with that upfront theme choice. So LifterLMS does have the SkyPilot theme that comes with the, I believe it comes with the Universe and Infinity bundle. And I know it's in the Infinity bundle, but I think it's also in the Universe bundle. And so that's kind of the default one. If I'm building new websites in 2024, I'm using SkyPilot because that's going to be how websites are built in the next 5-10 years. So when I need to change my theme 5-10 years down the line, I don't have to rebuild my website. And so, but if you're already on a different theme, it's not worth uprooting your website to change in most cases. So that's like a high level about customizing design in Lifter. We took a deeper look at CSS because this is all customizable with CSS. If you want to work with a developer or someone with CSS knowledge to really customize everything you want to do. And one thing we didn't even talk about was BuddyBoss. That's a really good option as well with LifterLMS. So at a high level, those are the customizations. A lot of WordPress LMSs have similar customizations, whereas hosted LMSs don't have exactly the same customizations. But yeah, there's blocks. Sometimes if you want to get within the content of the blocks, you've got to use CSS. That's kind of the high level about design.
Yeah, I'm not a CSS expert in the least, but I added someone to my team that is. And to your point, Will, and I think I even talked to you about this project. My client sent me a Figma file that was like they were re-envisioning the way the internet works almost in my brain. Like I was like, this page is crazy. And then, but that's what they want, right? They're like, we want this craziness. We want this. And so I was like, okay, so from an e-commerce standpoint, it's more of a WooCommerce example than a Lifter payment gateway example. So, okay, let's use Woo. And then can we customize Woo? Well, it turns out there's tools to customize Woo. And then I added someone to the team and they duplicated that Figma file with WooCommerce for products and then LifterLMS for course and lesson pages that exactly matched the Figma file, which was nothing like any theme or anything else that, you know, I had previously seen. So the website's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's really minimalistic. It looks like something Apple would have designed if they liked gray and red as their accent colors. And I'm really proud of the project because it worked out really, really, really well. But to me, it was a testament of the flexibility and the scalability of WordPress, especially in the way that we're leveraging it for folks.
Yeah, and if you are getting into code-related development, LifterLMS is, at this point, the most robust coded, the most well-commented code base and all this stuff in WordPress. If you are getting into development, LifterLMS is a great solution there.
Yeah, and to be more clear, what Emily's talking about there is when you go and look at the code for LifterLMS, there's like notes. This is what this code's for, and then the code. This is what this code's for. Whereas there's other products that you might look at in the WordPress space. You open up a edit screen, you go, oh, what's all this? But at least that's what I do, right? But in Lifter, everything is very well noted and easier to access and understand what you're working with. And so with that, we've got, I think, just one more question. And this one, actually, I've got a screen share up on it, so you don't have to worry about it, Emily. But actually, I got to pull it back up. But Karen submitted this with the, I don't know, before or after the call, I can't remember. But using voucher codes to sell packages. This comes up a lot. Folks are like, I want to be able to sell 100 seats to George. And so how do you sell 100 seats to George? You can do it a bunch of different ways, but out of the box, one of the things that LifterLMS has is vouchers. So what's the difference between a coupon and a voucher? Because you could have 100% off coupon if you wanted to, but a voucher to me is more like a printed ticket. Like if I was going to go to a concert and I had a ticket that I showed the guy at the gate, that would be a voucher. Okay. So using voucher codes to sell packages, I have prepared a letter with codes for various memberships, but I'm worried that it's setting me up for theft. I would like to be able to restrict the number of uses of unique voucher codes that I sell in packages. Absolutely. That's exactly the way the system is set up. So let's jump into a screen share that I already have set up in one of our demo sites here. Share screen, add a new voucher, and to save time because we've only got a few minutes left, I went directly to the order. I should double check. Emily, are you seeing my screen share?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Because it went off the screen when I went to it. So orders. So we have our normal admin dashboard, right? LifterLMS, courses, memberships, engagements, and orders. If we go into orders, we can see our orders. We can look at coupons, or we can go to vouchers. This is the voucher screen, and I'm on add a new voucher. So if I go in here and I say Karen's use case, you'll notice that when you set up your vouchers, you pick whatever courses you've sold. So I'm going to sell the template because I'm a genius that way. So I'm going to sell the course template, or I could sell a membership, right? And a membership is where I can bundle multiple courses together if I wanted to do that. So how do I want these codes to work? So add how many different vouchers with how many uses per code. So let's say I've got 50 students that I want to give these codes to, and I want to do one use per code. Well, then the system is going to generate those 50 codes. right? And you can see right here, uses 0 out of 1. So this code, 1STJEK1 blah, 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 can be used one time, right? And so they're not going to be able to share that code with 5 buddies and have 6 people use that code. That code can only be used the one time. And furthermore, you could go in here and you could say Karen 1 for a code. You could say Karen 2 for a code, and you can customize these codes all that you want. So you can make it more user-friendly, less friction for people that are getting something. So you could say, use this voucher, I'm the boss. That could be your voucher code. But you can limit the number of times that is used. The other way to go is you could have a more simple use case. Let's say that, I'm going to publish that and we'll do a new one. How about that? So if I do a new voucher code, add a voucher, and we're going to say that this is course template again, and I'm going to say Karen's case number 2. So let's say that I'm going to sell that same course, but now I just want to have that one code. I want it to be used 50 times, and I can add that. So now I've got one code that can be used 50 times. And a way that this might work is maybe I put the company name in there and I say company A. So, man, I can't type today. You know what you should do? Go stay at the airport for 5 hours waiting for a plane to land in the rain. That'll make you feel better. So now this code, company A, use 0 times out of 50, right? We can, and then poof, publish that. So now we're able to go into redemptions and we can see what name, what email, what redemption date, and what code was used. And we can see all the redemptions. So vouchers, you don't really have to worry about theft so much with vouchers, but let's go back to the use case. The use case is you send 50 codes to somebody, and let's say that somebody sends that code to 5 of their friends. Well, that code can only be used once. So the original user uses the voucher, done. In the case where it's one code used 50 times, let's say the first guy signs up, forwards the email to 5 of his friends. It gets used 6 times. Well, what's going to happen is when you get to the 44th user, that one's going to go through. The 45th user is going to get this voucher is no longer valid, right? Because 5 people outside the original group used the voucher. So for security purposes, you might want to really look at how you leverage those codes, but that's how you can use vouchers. The other thing is you're on Infinity, right? So if you have the Infinity bundle, you could be using groups, and you could be having people do group invites and have that front end reporting for the group leader. And you can do things that way as well. It's groups to me was developed much later than vouchers and is a little bit more robust, I think, in certain instances. And that puts us at the top of the hour. There's something I need to go and get for you folks, and that is the coupon code again. So let's go ahead and put that into chat. This is a long Zoom day for me. I didn't get much sleep. So I'm old. I can't imagine how I used to just go out until the sun came up when I was in my 20s. I don't know how I did it. I'm half dead today. Get your LifterLMS 55% off coupon code right here. LifterLMS.com/AMA-gift /AMA-gift. And that will work just fine. Folks, that's going to wrap us up for this live presentation, and we will see you next week. No worries. Have yourselves a great week. Next Thursday it is.